What makes Deepwoken special to you? Is it the PvP, PvE, lore, world building? For me, it's a variety of these factors, but something that makes Deepwoken different and stand out to me is build diversity. And it pains me to say it, but I feel like every now and then, some cool concept is ruined by the fact that it doesn't have the ability to be different. So let's make a ranking system to determine build diversity. I'm going to be looking at oaths in this video, so let's do precisely that. We can split up the diversity rating into 3 subsets: stats out of 330, weapons out of 147, yes I counted, and mantras out of 9. Here's a quick rundown of the math. The stats is 330 minus the stat point requirement by your oath. The weapons is how much weapons you could use with the oath, and the mantras is how much mantras you can use on your build out of 9. Then it is divided by 3 and times by 100 to get our final percent. Anyway, let me skip the long and boring explanation and just show all the data for each oath. As we can see, Fade Trimmer scores 96.3%, Jet Striker 91.2%, Link Strider 100%, Oathless 96.3%, Salt Chemist 88.7%, Silent Heart 49.3%, Starkindred 92.3%, Vision Shaper 94.9%, Arc Warder 94.3%, Blade Harper 84.7%, Blind Seer 92.3%, Contractor 96.1%, Chain Warden 96.0%, Dawnwalker 96.3%. Now don't get me wrong, there's clear reason for higher requirement oaths, but that being said, there's a clear outlier. Silent Heart scores the lowest with a score of 49.3%. Now I would say any score from 80% to 100% is good by all means, and Silent Heart is the only one that falls below this criteria. Try to think of the last time you fought a Silent Heart and thought, wow, this is a unique build. It just doesn't really happen. There's really only 3 Silent Heart builds, light, medium, and heavy, and it gets really repetitive and boring quite frankly. It got to the point where when K1 announced that he was reworking Silent Heart, I was hoping he would gut it just so I wouldn't see a Silent Heart anymore. But this is not to say that they should remove Silent Heart. After all, content is content. What worries me is seeing them repeat their mistakes over and over, and I hope this doesn't ruin the upcoming oath, Saintsworn. Think about it. There's 4 Hero Blades, and they require 75 elemental each. Since it is an elemental oath, we can assume that it'll be 9 out of 9 in the mantra department, but that leaves us with 60% diversity. And frankly, that's not much better. It seems like we're only gonna see 4 builds of it: Fire, Ice, Thunder, and Shadow. But of course, I don't know anything about it, so I could be wrong. And let's talk about the new weapon, the Imperator's Edge. It requires a total of 240 stats on your build. That's 72% of the stats of your build. And for reference, that means if you were to go 80 into elements, you'd have 10 points left. So realistically, you're only going to see one type of build of this weapon: no attunement, Silent Heart, Contractor, or Dawnwalker. And honestly, it's just not a fun weapon because of this. It's not even that cool, just basically being a stat stick, and honestly, I'd prefer to see it reworked. So what's the solution to all this? Frankly, I don't know, and that's where I turn to you. How could this be fixed? But it's always better to look at the future versus the past. Deepwoken has only become more diverse in builds the more stuff it adds, even if it's limited, and that's awesome in my opinion. And I just want to look at all of Deepwoken's other weapons and oaths. All are quite unique and offer many playing styles, so perhaps let's not let 2 bad apples ruin the whole bunch. Now I do want to say, my method of finding the diversity of oaths can be contested. There's not really a good way to do it. You can argue Silent Heart is extremely diverse since it can switch weapons, or that stats / mantras shouldn't be included, etc. But the point stands that Silent Heart is an outlier in function as well. Remove an Ether from your kit and just making everything revolve around cooldowns instead. So yeah, what do you think? Am I wrong or right? Again, there's no way to say for sure, but yeah. And if you guys enjoyed, please consider subscribing. I like seeing the number go up. Anyway, see you guys later.